The Edison High Auditorium had a strange stillness that morning, the kind that hinted at something simmering just beneath the surface. Dusty light pierced through the tall windows, casting golden beams over the faded rows of wooden chairs. The room smelled of old paper and floor wax, and the low hum of murmuring students added to the tension. Before we begin, take a breath. Because sometimes, one voice can echo louder than 1,000. And when the truth finally breaks the silence, it changes everything. Backhand index pointing right if you believe in the power of voice and stories that stir the soul. Like this video and subscribe to the Soul Script. Let's keep these truths alive, one story at a time. Principal Marcus Raymond, a man whose once fiery idealism had dulled with years of compromise, stood behind the podium. His shoulders were heavy beneath his gray blazer, and the deep lines on his face told stories of battles fought, many of them lost. "This is your final warning," he began, his voice cracking slightly. He paused, scanning the auditorium. The vandalism, the fights, the bullying, it ends now. Or the school falls apart. A ripple went through the crowd. Some scoffed, others looked away. The faculty members seated behind him shifted uncomfortably. Maya Hart, 16, sat in the second-to-last row, arms crossed over her chest. She was quiet, observant. Her eyes, dark and wide, took in every reaction, every shoulder shrug, every whisper. She wasn't like the others. She had lived the consequences of the silence he was talking about. She had seen the cost, and her brother had paid it. After the assembly, the halls roared back to life. Conversations buzzed like static. Locker doors clanged open and shut. Students bumped past one another in a tide of bodies and indifference. Maya kept her head down. The hall leading to the East Wing always gave her a strange chill. It was narrower, darker. The lights above flickered half the time. She stopped in front of locker number 228. Its blue paint was chipped, and someone had scratched "Loser" faintly into the metal. It had been Tyler's. Her fingers brushed the lock, even though it had long been reassigned. But in her mind, she could still see him there, tall, nervous, clutching that sketch pad he never let out of his sight. Tyler had disappeared piece by piece, not in one dramatic moment, but in the accumulation of little cruelties. A slip of paper crinkled in her pocket. Detention. Again. She had spoken up last week when one of the athletes mocked a quiet kid's stutter. They called it disruption. Maya clenched her jaw. She didn't regret it. But the silence around her felt like a fog she couldn't push through. English class. Room 112. The air was stale and overly warm from the aging radiator that clanked every 10 minutes. Miss Keene, mid-30s, sat slouched behind her desk, scrolling through her phone behind a folder. She had once been a favorite, energetic, idealistic. But now her smile rarely reached her eyes. Maya sat by the window, absently watching the bare tree branches sway outside. Then it happened. A whisper, sharp and fast. "Freak." Maya turned. Jared, one of the football team's stars, smirked as he passed a note to his friend, pointing subtly at Olivia, a quiet girl with a hearing aid. Miss Keene looked up. Her eyes met Jared's, then Maya's. Then, She looked away. No comment. No redirection. Just silence. Maya's nails dug into her notebook. She thought of Tyler again. He had been here too. In this room. He had loved poetry. He had written his soul out into lines and metaphors, and someone had ripped the pages out of his journal and taped them to the bathroom mirror with vulgar notes scribbled across them. And no one had done a thing. The cafeteria was an echo chamber of clattering trays, forced laughter, and cheap food smells. Maya sat at the far end, away from the main tables. She didn't look up when the commotion started. A freshman, thin and awkward, tripped over an outstretched foot. His tray flew from his hands, spaghetti and milk exploding across the floor. A roar of laughter followed. Maya's eyes snapped to the scene. Jared again. His laughter was a carbon copy of the ones Tyler had faced. Cold. Entertained. Maya stood up. Enough. Her voice wasn't loud, but it sliced through the room. Some looked over. Most didn't care. The freshman scrambled to his feet, red-faced, and rushed out. Maya stared down the table of athletes. Their smirks faded. Then, behind her, Principal Raymond entered. He had seen it. Their eyes met. And for the first time, his didn't look through her. Maya sat in the stale silence of detention, tapping her pencil against the desk. The clock ticked slowly, each second dragging. Across the room, 2 other students were half asleep, and a sub-teacher scrolled on their phone. Her eyes were fixed on the faded, "Dare to be great" poster taped to the wall. Tyler had once doodled a version of that slogan in his sketchpad, replacing great with kind. Kindness isn't weak, it's brave, he had told her once. She blinked away the memory. The silence of the room was heavy, and for once, Maya wished someone else would fill it. Then Principal Raymond entered. "Maya, may I speak with you?" Her heart jumped. She gathered her things and followed him into the hallway. "I saw what happened in the cafeteria," he said. "And I heard what you did last week." The stuttering boy. Maya braced herself for another lecture. But his tone softened. "Why do you keep doing this?" She stared at him, then said simply, "Because no one else does." Raymond paused. Something shifted behind his eyes. "Can I show you something?" Down a locked corridor behind the faculty offices was an old storage room filled with dusty trophies, forgotten banners, and mismatched chairs. Raymond unlocked the door and let Maya in. The fluorescent light flickered overhead. He handed her a worn manila folder. Inside, Tyler Hart's file. "There were complaints," he said. "From him. From you. But it wasn't enough. The system, it has rules. And He hesitated. "I didn't push hard enough." Maya's hands trembled as she read through reports, notes on incidents, teacher comments, ignored pleas. Some were scribbled. Some half-finished. Most stamped handled. "You gave him detention for defending himself," she said, voice tight. "He wrote to you." Raymond's face cracked. "I failed him." A long pause. "Then I don't want to fail again." Later that week, Maya stood in front of a whiteboard in an empty classroom. Behind her were charts, photographs, and quotes, Tyler's art, anti-bullying resources, anonymized student testimonials. Principal Raymond had pulled some strings. Maya was launching something new. Project Echo, every choice has an outcome. With Olivia's help and a few others who had quietly stepped forward, Maya was building a forum, student-led, emotionally honest, no sugarcoating. They would share their stories, rebuild the lost empathy. She clicked the projector. On screen, a picture of Tyler, smiling shyly with a pencil in his hand. "This is where we start," she said softly. By listening, the room was quiet but charged. A teacher walked in. Ms. Keene. She looked around, then sat down. Word about Project Echo spread. Slowly, uneasily. Some mocked it, others ignored it, but a few came. Maya pinned a flyer outside the main office. A voice startled her. "You're really doing it," Jared said. She turned, cautious. "I didn't think someone like you would care." "I didn't," he said. "Until my cousin tried to." He stopped, looked away. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. "Come to the assembly," she said. "Tell the truth." He nodded, once, and walked off. The auditorium looked different now. Same cracked stage, same dusty beams, but something new was in the air. Students filed in. The screen behind the podium flickered to life. Principal Raymond stepped forward. "You remember what I said? One final warning." He looked to Maya. She rose, walked to the mic. "My name is Maya Hart, and my brother, Tyler, was a student here. He died 2 years ago. Not in an accident. Not from illness. From being broken down, slowly, by the silence around him." The room stilled. She continued. Clear, unshaken. "We watched. We let it happen. But now we speak." Voices followed. Olivia. Then Jared. Then others. Real stories. Painful truths. No slogans. Just honesty. Some cried. Some sat stunned. Even Miss Keene stood and spoke. I looked away. And I won't anymore. Weeks passed. The walls of Edison High bore new murals, made by students. Some of Tyler's old sketches had been reprinted and framed. Hall monitors changed. Counseling was expanded. Teachers attended listening sessions, including Miss Keene. The halls felt different. Not perfect, but better. Maya walked past locker number 228. This time, someone had cleaned it. A sticky note was on it. "You mattered." She smiled. From the PA, Raymond's voice echoed. "Let us be kind. Let us be brave." It was from Tyler's journal. Maya stopped to listen. Not everything had changed, but the silence had been broken. Backhand index pointing out, if this story resonated with you, if you believe in truth, courage, and the voices that rise above silence, like this video and subscribe to the Soul Script for more powerful, human stories that stay with you.